Okay, well, welcome on this evening's call, Vision Action Team Training. I'll be recording this for pass out. My name is Michael Hollander. These calls moving forward will be done on the first and the third Mondays of every month. So our next call, if you want to mark your calendars, or if you're listening to this, you can mark your calendar for February 1st. This is January 18, 2016. I do these calls to create connection and community. So I'm hopeful that people will participate and be on these calls and share them with their teams, because really that's what it's all about. If you stay connected with USANA, your percentage chances of being more engaged and more in action are greatly increased. It's just what it's about. It's about community, guys, and so hopefully this creates some of that. Just a couple of updates. Free starter kits. I want you to consider going over to logging into your hub, and we have a couple of updates here. And the first is a free starter kits with enrollments of 1 or 3 business centers, actually 200 or 400 volume points, sales volume points, will enable the new enrolling associate to receive their business development system for free. And this is active now, started January 6th, goes on to January 31st, which is a great day, my birthday. And so, but take advantage of that. Some of what you'll hear on this evening's call will be around the concept of inviting people to listen to information. And those that are interested, the additional incentive here is, of course, to be able to participate with just product purchase. Also with free starter kits, if you have preferred customers that are doing a decent volume and are bonded to these products and using them consistently, call them up. It's a great way for them to be able to take advantage of potential tax advantages that are afforded to people that have their own home business. So the free starter kit program, January 6th to January 31st. Reset, if you want to participate, you're going to go on to the hub and you're going to learn more about that. That the reset incentive is going on right now. That one you do have to opt into, but enough of that. So in addition, hang on a second. All right, there we are. And so in addition, the last update is what we'll talk about tonight, and that's the This is USANA. It's a new video that was introduced. It's brilliant. It is the only tool that I am using. I just find that when you're doing sifting and sorting or providing a basic information piece prior to setting an appointment with someone, you want to use something that's cohesive. You want to use something that's professional. You want to use something that is going to tell a little bit of the story, and that's exactly what This is USANA does. Very, very impressed with this video tool that we have. So tonight we're going to be going through how to use that, where to find it, how to customize it, and to give you some ideas as to how you might utilize that during your inviting process. I want to begin, of course, with a book review. We're continuing on with the GoPro book review, and this week we'll be doing chapters 4 and 5. And 4 is the actual first skill. Chapter 4 is the first skill, and that is the skill of finding your prospects. And then we'll do skill number 2 in chapter 5, which is inviting your prospects to understand your product or opportunity. Now these are lengthy topics here, so I'm going to try to zing through these. But I'm going to ask you, if you don't have this GoPro, you need to invest in yourself, invest in this manuscript. You can actually follow along with it. So if you're listening, even if you're listening on the recording, take some time right now. Go grab your GoPro manuscript, your GoPro book, and I'll show you where you can get that towards the end of this particular segment. So we're going to talk about chapter 4. That's the skill of finding prospects. And remember, I do this right out of the book. I don't do too many ad libs here, but it's important to know that finding prospects is a very important skill. And he talks about, like we talked about last week, that there are different types of people, 3 kinds of people in network marketing: posers, amateurs, and professionals. In fact, last week we had asked you, our last call, with the first chapters, we had asked you to consider making that commitment, that definite commitment, and setting an intention to become a network marketing professional over time. Not overnight, but over time. And so but there's three types of network marketers: posers, amateurs, and professionals. And when it comes to finding prospects, here's how these three stack up. The poser, which is by and large the majority of people when they start out, they'll make a mental list of 3, 4, 5 people who they think will join their business, and after they say no, they're out of the deal. So, mental lists don't cut it. But hopefully they upgrade. Many posters upgrade to amateurs. I was an amateur forever. It's 80% of all people who join network marketing they start as posers. But 8 out of 10 distributors first approach their business with a poser mentality, but many of them grade into becoming amateurs, which is great. So instead of the mental list that a poser makes, an amateur is going to make a written list. And they're going to start with a bunch of people, let's say maybe 100 people they're going to start with, and they're going to go out there with armed with incredible amounts of excitement and zero skill sets, and they're going to blow these people out of the water. And as people say not now, they're going to be concerned about their small list as it dwindles. Think of inventory and using up your inventory. So he begins to talk about his own personal experience with finding people, and he met this gentleman called Harvey McKay, and he really believes in Harvey McKay a lot. He talks about how a professional actually creates a candidate list and continues to grow that list. So he talks about a few steps here. Step one is you want to make as comprehensive list as possible, as every person you know. It doesn't matter if you think they're going to be interested in this or not. It's more like a brainstorming process, I'll add. But it doesn't matter. And if people who you don't even get along with belong on your list, or people who you would never want to work with belong on your list, because he says you're emptying your mind, which makes room for other stuff to come out of, quality people perhaps you forgot about. But certainly it is that brainstorming. They're all in there. Social psychologists tell us that by the time we're 21 years old, we've already met over 2,000 names. That's amazing statistic too, but I've read it so many times. And so that's step one: make the list. And you can. And step two is you want to begin then to think not just about the people that are on your list, but who those people might know. So you might, have a plumber or an accountant. Well, who's an accountant know that you can conjure up in your mind? It's going to be amazing how things open up as you continue that process. So who do they know? So start thinking about who family members know, or who friends' families know, or like if you have a very close friend, and of course they have some parents. Who do the parents know? Who the siblings of that friend? Who do they know? Or so if they're not on your list, they belong on your list. Step three is you want to constantly expand your list, and he talks about that every day a professional is going to be able to create this awareness of people out there. You're going to meet people every single day. Well, you put their names on their list. You get into the comfortable habit, initially it's uncomfortable, of getting names and placing those names on your list for future reference. And so you find also a creative way to keep in touch with them. And then he also encourages us to network on purpose, to join clubs or join areas of interest, and make friends first. That's really what it's all about. And that's pretty much sums up that first skill set of finding people. Moving on to Chapter 5, Skill Set 2, that's inviting prospects to understand your product and your opportunity. And we know in this business that if you don't talk to people, if you don't approach people, then not much is going to ever happen with your business. If you don't share what you have, it's like having a store and the door is closed and locked. Now you've paid for that store's leasehold and decorating and inventory, but you're keeping your door locked. The very act of inviting people is the act of opening the doors, unlocking the doors to your store so people can walk in and see what you have, to see if there's anything there of interest. So that's my ad lib. But he calls it a gateway skill, and it certainly is. And it doesn't come immediately easy, but through practice and consistency, It does. He talks about himself and how he didn't know too many people, but there's different focuses when we're inviting, when we're going out to find people, if you will, to be interested in our product or our opportunity. And he was like the hunter. And you don't want to be the hunter with this, where you're just like going out and stalking people, because everyone around you is going to feel that, he says. So, well, what do you want to be? Well, a professional network marketer is more like a farmer. They build relationships. They build friendships. They don't go immediately out to recruit people. They make people, they find out what people need and want, and then they provide and they educate. They're more like coaches or consultants. I find when he writes, when I read that for myself, I find that very comforting to know that that's something that's easily teachable. We're all coaches in our own way. We're all listeners. We all care about people, generally speaking, and as opposed to trying to get something from somebody or becoming different, you got to be yourself, you know. And so you pretty much, a professional invites people to do one of two things, it's either get some information or go to an event. And that's to, in other words, review some type of tool. So I really think that tonight's topic, this of inviting, is perfect for what we're going to cover here with the new tool that USANA has given us. It's tailor-made for what you can learn here on inviting on page on chapter 5 here, okay, on the process of inviting. So it's to review a tool, and by and large, that's what it boils down to. You'd want more people to review a tool, he suggests, and those that are interested in raise their hands, then they can go on to the next step or exposure called called a meeting or a presentation or an event. You can take them to an event if you have one. You can sit down with them, or you could put them on a webcast or whatever. But the first step is the sifting and sorting process, and that's using a tool. He says that it's a better first step in creating education and understanding about what we do, is to share a tool. You know, he does state that meetings create social proof when you see other people who are similar to you and they're sitting there being excited at an event, but it's very time intensive. We're sharing a tool, sifting and sorting to find somebody who does have a level of interest to go to the next step of presentation or more detailed information. That's much better for today's busy world, if you will. So all we really need to do to be successful is to learn how to successfully invite people to watch a video, and then follow it up with an invitation to an event I'm reading. And then teach people who are in your network to do the same, to duplicate the same thing. Once you know that, it gets pretty simplistic. So his formula for financial independence, he writes, is your ability to get a large group of people to consistently do a few simple things over an extended period of time. What does that look like? Well, that would be, if you have a team, you and your team consistently share a tool with people on your names list and people who you bump into over a period of time. And if you're consistent in doing that, that duplicates. It's a much easier system to duplicate using something like a tool that we'll talk about tonight in the time we have left. And so here's a couple of things. Rule number one, when you're inviting, you want to be emotionally detached from the outcome. What do you want? Well, you want people to see what you see, and you want people to agree with your belief systems and all that. But if you do, and they're not in sync with what you see or believe, what goes up must come down. Your emotions are affected. So if you can detach from this and know that it's just as simple as flipping cards, looking for aces in a deck. You know, and if you flip over a card, it's not an ace, you don't get all emotionally upset. It's not about that. So you have to detach yourself. It sounds easy, but you know what? After a while, you realize that it's the best way to be, and that's what, and it duplicates. If you focus on getting a customer distributed, you're going to be disappointed. If you focus on education and understanding, then you can actually have a lot of fun in this process. And that's one of the things that as you become a professional in network marketing or work towards that and you detach, you start having fun. And when you start having fun, your whole posture changes. Rule number 2, be yourself. You know, a lot of people get into this and they think they have to be a certain way or talk a certain way. And believe me, you show up different. You don't show up natural. You show up like I used to kid around, but with a new associate who's spilling the beans and talking really fast and you know, duplicating language that they never use. It's like the Martians came and sucked their brains out. I mean, they're different. You want to be yourself. Rule number, and that's very comforting, by the way. Rule number 3. Bring some enthusiasm to it. If you're not normally an enthusiastic person, just be a little bit more enthusiastic. Raise your voice a little bit more. That's what people will sense. And then, of course, I mentioned the word posture. You want to have a strong posture and be confident. If you're bold and a bolder form of yourself, he writes, it's going to make the difference. You know, your posture is everything. You have what people need if you believe that, whether you believe it or not. A very sharing of a 12, 13-minute video like This Is USANA, that can make a major difference in somebody's welfare or well-being. So be a bolder, a bolder self. You know, be bold, be yourself, and be a bolder self. He says there are 8 steps to a professional invitation. It's actually getting into the structure of an invite. 1, you want to be in a hurry. 2, you want to compliment if that's appropriate, but compliment wherever possible, only sincerity. You make the invitation. If I would you, that's step 4. Step 5 is confirmation number 1. Step 6, confirmation number 2, which is a time commitment. Step 7 is schedule the next call. That's another confirmation. And then step 8 is get off the phone. I'm going to go through these really fast so then we can get on to a couple of other things. So step 1, be in a hurry. It's a psychological issue, he says. But mostly, if you're in a hurry, then people won't, you won't blasé, you won't talk about too much stuff. Your job here is really to stay within this structure as best you can and to practice this until you get comfortable with it, because people are going to really respect this. So what you're going to be, you know, it is. He says it's the first impression, but basically you want to be in a hurry. And what that sounds like, and you don't have to use any of these. You can make up your own, but you definitely want to be in a hurry. You could say, listen, you know, I don't have a lot of time, but it was really important that I reach you. Or when I listen, hey, you know, great to connect. Listen, I know you're busy. I am too. You can say that. Or, look, I got a million things going on, but I'm glad I caught you. Or I'm running out the door, but I need to talk to you for a quick minute. You can use any of those guys, and that's real important stuff to really create that a sense of that you're in a hurry. It also increases your energy level too, doing that. If it's cold market, you know, now's not the time to get into it, or you know, I got to run, but I'm glad I reached you, and then you can go and do the invite. But those are just some examples. Come up with your own, he says. Compliment. He says it's critical to compliment somebody. And I really respect your opinion. That would be a compliment. I really respect how successful you've been. That would be a compliment. He uses examples for warm market. That's people who you know. You know, you've been successful, and I've always really respected the way you've done business. That's a good thing. Or you've always been supportive of me, and I appreciate that. That's a compliment. Or you have an amazing mind for business. Or for as long as I know you, I thought you're really good at what you do. You're really excellent at what you do. And so for cold market, you know, let's say it's somebody in service. You give me some of the best service advice. Or, you know, I really appreciate the quality of service you provided. Or you're really sharp. You know, you're a great people person. You have wonderful people skills. And these could all be, you know, you just made this a wonderful experience for me. I really appreciate that. Let me ask you a question. And then you go on to the invite. So this is step 2, compliment the prospect. Step 3 is make the invitation. There's a lot of different types of, there's a direct approach, there's an indirect approach, and then there's what he calls the super indirect approach. Let's look at a direct approach, which is what, it's generally reserved for people who you know, but you can use it, that's generally what I use. And it's using you're inviting people to learn more about an opportunity for them. So most people use a direct approach for all their prospects. But he says that the direct approach works best with people who you know and you respect. That's what he says. Examples for warm market approach. When you told me it's like you're talking to a friend. When you told me you hated your job, were you serious or were you just kidding? Great, I think I found a way for us to blah, blah. So this is all on page 52. I'm not going to read it all. Or you could write, when I thought of people who could make an absolute fortune in a business I found, I thought of you. Or you could ask a question. Are you still looking for a job? I found a way for both of us to start a great business. Or this would be my favorite. Let me ask you a question off the record. If there was a business you could start working part-time from home that could replace your full-time income, would that interest you? That's pretty straight up. And so those are there. You don't want to read scripts. You want to be able to internalize this to sound genuine, but you're never going to be able to do that until you go through this manuscript and start using some of these very simple qualifications. So for cold market, have you started diversifying your income, or do you leave your career options open? Those are other ones too. It's on page 53. Indirect approach is really you're asking somebody's help or guidance, asking for somebody's help or guidance. And it's great. It's like the I need practice approach, I call it. I just started a new business. I'm nervous, but before I get going, I need to practice on somebody friendly. You could say, if I send you some information, would you look at it? And that would be the action. If I, would you? That's the next thing we'll talk about. But examples of cold market. My company's expanding in your area. Would you do me a favor, take a look at something, and let me know if you think it would work at where you live? So I'm not going through all these. Super indirect approach is a very good approach. I call it the who do you know approach. In this type of approach, what you're doing is you're asking people for certain quality types, for referrals, if you will. And so who do you know that's hit a wall, you might say, in business and is looking for a way to diversify your income? Or I'm working with a company that's expanding in your area, and I'm looking for some sharp people that might be interested in additional income. Who do you know that might fit that description? And so, or I'm looking for some sharp people who are open-minded, they're health conscious. You could fit a couple of qualities of individuals into a who do you know, and you're asking people who they know. And in most cases, they might be interested. They say, well, what about me, they might say. Or they might not say that. They might say, well, what's it about? Which means that there's a partial level of interest there to perhaps learn more for themselves. But at the very least, they need to learn more so that they can feel comfortable referring. Would you refer somebody to something you had zero idea about, zero knowledge of? Of course not. And so one of the things with this approach is to get them to evaluate material. And so that could sound like, what if they ask for more information? It says, well, you would want to know about it before you refer some of your contacts. And then you can move to step 4, which is if I would you. So there's a few of those in there in the who do you know type of category, the super indirect approach. But step 4 is if I would you. And this is the most important, because here your person is going to, it's reciprocal. If I do something for you, would you do something for me? And so it gives you power and posture, but it also, if they say no to it, obviously you just move on. But no, not too many people say no. So if I gave you a DVD, would you watch it? So in other words, you've already determined. Listen, who do you know? Or let me backtrack. Let's say it's a direct approach. So I'm expanding in your area. Thought of you. It may not be for you, but if I sent you a DVD, would you watch it? Or if I sent you a video link, 12-minute video link, would you watch it? If I would you. It's very, very powerful, guys. If I invited you to a presentation, if I invited you to listen to a conference call, would you? If I would you is extremely important. So let's break it down here. You've started the call with urgency. You've complimented them. You've made the invitation, if I would you. And you've got to continue on here. and let's say, yeah, sure, yeah, if they say yes to, if I would you listen to it or would you watch it? And they say yes, you'd say great. And now you have to really nail it down. And that's step 5 is the first confirmation. Where are we here? Hang on. If I would you, step 5 is a time commitment. And so the way that sounds is, when do you think you could watch it? Very simple. So if I send it today, when do you think you could watch it? And you don't suggest a time for them. He really underlines that. But it's important because they're going to make the appointment. Now, we're so concerned about following up that we don't. We're so uncomfortable about it most of the time. This is great. When you're asking for this type of commitment, this time commitment, when, if I send it today, when do you think you could watch it? And just be quiet, and they'll give you an answer. 90%, in fact, he says, will give you an answer to that question, that basically they're setting the appointment. You should not feel uncomfortable about that. You should be pretty excited about that. Some people will be a little bit vague, maybe 10% of the people, but he suggests, that you be very straight and have posture. So, in other words, tell them, listen, I don't really want to waste your time. Why don't we just lock in a time that you will have seen it for sure? But mostly 90% of the people are going to say yes. Where do you go from there? Well, then that's step 6. You want to confirm the time and the commitment. And here's what that sounds like. If they say they'll watch it by Tuesday night, you want to say something like this. So if I called you Wednesday morning, you would have watched it for sure, right? And at that point, they're either going to say yes, or they're going to say, well, why don't you give me a day or two, and they're going to reset it. They're going to say, well, Thursday. So great. So if I call you Thursday, would have watched it for sure? Awesome. And then the key is that they have set an appointment time, and they have made a commitment. You haven't begged for a commitment or made the appointment time for them. Well, I'll call you after you look at it. No. You want them to, so if I send it now, when will you look at it? And you might be uncomfortable the first couple of times you do this. I'm telling you, when you see the results, it'll blow you away. It will absolutely blow you away, and you'll be so excited you'll do it more and more and more, which is what this is all about. It's getting comfortable with this information. It's practicing this information until you get it down. So if I call John July, let's say they're going away. So if I send it now, when do you think you watch it? Well, I'm going on vacation, but I could probably get back and watch it when I get back in 2 weeks. So if I call you in 2 weeks and 1 day, you would have watched it for sure? Great. So remember, you can adapt this same question. This is page 60 and 61, guys. And so once that's done, there's another one. So the step 7 is a confirmation, a third confirmation, which is, you schedule in the call. What's the best number and time for me to call you? Well, probably 11 o'clock would be good on that Tuesday. And this number works great, they might say. And then step 8 is get off the phone. So here's what it might sound like with somebody that you know. Hey, I don't have a lot of time to talk, but it was really important that I reach you. Listen, you're one of the most financially intelligent people I know, and I've always really respected that about you. When you told me you're having challenge with your job, were you serious or kidding around? They say they were serious. You say, great. I think I found a way to create an exit strategy. I've got a 12-minute video link that talks about everything. It gives you a better idea what it's about. If I gave you that, if I sent it to you, would you listen to it? They say yes. You say, well, if I send it now, when do you think you could look at it for sure? They say Tuesday. So if I called you on Wednesday morning, you would have seen it for sure, right? They say yes. You say, all right, I'll check back with you then. What's the best number and time to call you? They give you that information. Got it. Hey, let's talk then. I got to run. Like I said, I know you're busy. I am too. Or just I got to run is enough. Let's say if it's a good. All these examples here are in the book, page 62, page 63. You don't need these as scripts. You just have to understand the flow of this and then to practice it a few times. but you won't practice it if you're not serious and you don't have a reason to. I'm hoping that you will. 64, 65 goes on to talk about, page 64 and 65 goes on to give you some more of these scenarios. Highly successful person, a cold market approach who's done a good job selling you something, or a direct approach. It goes on and on. Guys, it's so important to get this down, this simple 8-step process. Most important, if I would you, it can be as simple as this. Calling somebody you know and say, listen, something I'm real excited about. In fact, I'm deeply committed to it, and I thought of you. If I send you some information, would you look at it and give me your opinion? 12 minutes of your time, you do me a favor, watch this, and I love your opinion on it. And they go, sure. So, well, if I send it now, when could you watch it? Well, you're not going to watch it in a couple of minutes. I said, good. So if I called you back in an hour, you would have watched it for sure? Absolutely. Great. I'll call you back at 9 o'clock, and I got to go. And you get off the phone. You immediately send them the link. You text it to them, as you're going to see in a few minutes. You Facebook message it. You email them the e-card, and you call them back at 9 o'clock. It's that simple. You don't have to remember lots of stuff. You just have to be focused and know what you're going to say. And what you're going to say is, hey, look, there's something that I really want you to put your eyes on. May not be anything you're interested in, but it would mean a lot to me if you did. It takes 12 minutes. I got a quick 12-minute overview. If I send it, will you watch it? They say yes. You say, great, if I send it now, when do you think you could watch it for sure? Well, I'll watch it right now. I said, great. So if I call you back in an hour, you would watch it for sure. Right. Great. I'm going to send it now. I'll call you back at 9. Got to go. And it could be that simple, guys. Now, imagine doing that with 10 people. You could text that same information. And then if they say, sure, you could, but, you know, there's something to be said for contact. But you could also try texting that same thing. Listen, I just came across something, real excited about it. If I send it, will you watch it? If they text you back, yeah, you text them back. You go back and forth with a text. I'm not advocating that. I'm saying that does work. It's more cumbersome. It's more detached. The best thing is to call them up and do a quick, 30-second invite. Super sense of urgency, and so that's going to be it for chapter 4 and 5. And I hope you guys go back and work with this invite, and then try it. You're going to be when you break through with these invites, you're going to be amazed how easy it is. It just flows. If you got a names list and you have a reason to do this business, and you have a reason to create something and change lives with your sauna, then break the ice. Start to do a couple of these invites. Start to see that people are making the appointment. They're making the follow-up appointment for you. You're not deciding it. They're deciding it. You're being reciprocal. You're going to send them something that could be of great import in their life. If they don't want it, they're going to say, I don't want it. Big deal. They don't even know what it is. You haven't told them. And if you did, then, then you're not doing this program here the right way, according to GoPro and what most network marketing professionals will tell you. So that's enough of that. I hope some of that resonates. If you have some questions on that or comments, if anybody had any ahas, then I would ask you just type those in the chat feature, or if you're listening on the call and you come up with something, you can certainly ask questions and get me on email that you receive the link from, or on our Facebook page. So with the time we have left, what I really want to get into tonight is this brilliant new tool. Oh yeah, here's where you get GoPro. NetworkMarketingPro.com or Amazon.com for the book. Get the audio too. Both of them work hand in hand, extremely important. So what I want to talk about is Usana introduced a new video. If you haven't seen it yet, you're missing the boat on this as a brilliant new tool. You You can do this with people who you've talked to 10 times. You can use this video. It's an excuse to reach out to somebody to get their opinion. You can use this is USANA video. It's comprehensive. It's USANA associates that are speaking to the products, the science, the opportunity, the company. It's basically a mini presentation in 12 and a half or close to 13 minutes. I call it a 12-minute video. I'm going to show you where to find it. I'm going to show you how to customize it real quick. I'm going to take you through a few things with this. But I just want to emphasize that what Eric Worre talks about is a cassette that he used that duplicated. If you can get the people on your teams, if you don't have a team, there's a way to get them. You can get this information in front of people instead of what you've been telling them. This tool is going to overview and maybe touch a chord with someone, but not if you don't use it, not if you don't send it out. And you just keep sending it out to everybody you know, but do not send it out unless you've invited, use the invite. Do not send it out unless you have a defined follow-up appointment, because it's just a waste. You'll chase them and you'll get frustrated. And then you'll think that they're frustrated. But if you have an appointment, you can keep calling them back. So, but where do you find this powerful new tool? How do you customize? I'm going to be bouncing around here, but let's go to where you find it. Let's log in really quick to something called Communication Edge. Now, you'll find it on YouTube, but I'm going to encourage you not to use the YouTube version of This is USANA, because it has all kinds of stuff on it and it's not customized. But if you go to if you log in and you go down to Communication Edge, and by the way, I was going to talk about briefly before I get there. If you haven't done this in Communication Edge, you need to. See this little head on the upper right-hand corner? If you click on that and you go to Profile Manager, it's going to allow you, let me take you there, it's going to allow you to set things up properly. You want to get your picture up here. You want to get your address, your contact information there. You want to make sure all that's right. All your links, your social media links, you can manage them. You can put your Facebook link, your Twitter link, your LinkedIn link if you have such links. And so now it's all in there. So when you go to Communication Edge, which I'll get to in a second, this same information that you put there is going to go automatically on anything that you send out. On anything that you send out, be it a video, a link, an e-card, whatever. All right, so here's what we got. This is Communication Edge. I'm going to bypass all this stuff. If you're looking for This is USANA, you will find it under the Master Library. You can see I'm mousing over that now, and you want to select Video. And, well, you'll see it's right here, but if you want to search for it, you could just type in this, and there it'll be. This is USANA. So you click on This is USANA, and you can do a few things with it. You can download it as a file. That's great if you want to load up your computer with stuff. You can send it as an e-card. Now, you can send it as an e-card to the system, but you can also send it to yourself as an e-card and then put it in a folder and just quickly forward it, clean it up, and send it out. So it saves a lot of time to do it that way. It saves a tremendous amount of time. You can post it on Facebook if you choose to, or you can send it as a Facebook message by clicking on Facebook, or by, I'll show you how to use a link in a second. But you can post it on Facebook. You can tweet it. You can get a link. You can create a link for it. So let's say we wanted to do an e-card real fast. I already have this, but I just want to show you how this works. You click on e-card, send an e-card. You want to customize what it might say. Yes, you're giving it you're giving it a title, and I just, you can basically just title this is USANA, all right? This is. So let me do it here. Sorry. 1 second. and then you'd go down here and you'd have to do a message. You'd have to edit this. So when you click on that little, if you didn't see that, guys, it was it's important. I'm doing this again. Send an e-card. Something you might be interested in. Over here you see a little yellow circle with an exclamation point. Well, what that is a notification that it's a recommendation that you have to, in order to use this e-card, personalize it. So by clicking in it, it brings up a text edit box. And then you can select everything in there and get it all out of there, and you can write, watch this. So what you can also do, by the way, is change this once you've sent it to yourself before you send it out to somebody else. So you've personalized it. You click outside the box, and that yellow exclamation turns green. That means now it's usable. Now you can save it to as a favorite. You can save it as a favorite. You can add recipients. You can, adding recipients over here would enable you to, down here, to type in your email address and send it to yourself or send it to a bunch of people. So if that's too cumbersome, what you do is you just send it to yourself. So that's one thing you can do. Once you've made it a favorite, you can find it in your library. If I go to my library, that's my library. Here's video. Boom! It's the first thing that comes up. If I click on it, if I click on it and I wanted to send it as an e-card, let's see what it does. It gives me the ability to do that again, so I can do a personal message or whatever. So I don't have to hunt for it again. It's right there. However, if I want to get a link. I'm going to go on to links now. That's e-card. I went pretty quick on that, but you guys, we've done this before. Link is by far the easiest way. Let's say you click on a link. You can actually email the link to yourself, or you can copy this link. Look how long this link is. Can you imagine sending that to somebody like that? That's crazy, right? Well, what else could you do? I've done this before, but I want to show you. On the internet, there are URL shortening free services. In other words, you can take a big, long, gobbledygook link like that and make it smaller. What will that look like? Well, first of all, I've copied this link so I can do that, but I'm going to open my email and hang on. Okay, so I'm going to use this in a minute, but here, I mentioned that there are services where I can shorten this link. So here's one over here. It's called bit.ly, bit.ly.com. If I go to bit.ly.com and I paste in that long link, it automatically shortens it to bit.ly/whatever there. So I can copy that, and then I can also go back to my email. And instead of that big long link, I got that short one, and I can send it to myself. What I can do with this link is a couple of things. So let me send this to myself, just so I show you what it looks like. Now, I just sent that to myself as an email. So where are we here? Hang on. Okay, let's see what that link looks like. Now, I just sent this to myself. There it is. I open it up, and both these links are live. It'll take me to my e-card. Let's look of this video. I clicked on the short link. This is USANA. All my information is there. My website, my USANA website is there. Okay, and this wonderful 12-plus minute video is going to play for somebody. They can forward it, they can share it if they want, and all my information stays on there because of what I showed you to begin with, how the system profile, you put all your stuff in. How did you get bit.ly.com onto your toolbar? Oh, I'm using Safari, Daryl, and I save it as a favorite to my toolbar. You can do that with any browser. It's going to enable you to have. I mean, I have Usana, I have stock stuff, 90 day. I've got via team stuff, just for quick stuff I go to a lot that I'm interested in. So I don't have to look. It's like a bookmark, but it's like a bookmark toolbar thing. And so the way that I get that is basically, I guess I could show you. If I go to Bitly, if I went to Bitly and I did bookmarks and where is it? Add a bookmark. So and then I added it to, let's see, I added it to favorites. Boom, there it is over here, Bitly. That's what you can do in Safari. So, but I don't want that, so I'll get rid of that. All right, good. So that answers that question for you. So this is your sign up, and this is what you're going to see. So let's go back to this. This is sort of interesting now. So you've made a shortened link. What could you do with that shortened link? You can text it to someone. If I can do, let me see if I can use text over here. If I want to do a new text, I want to text myself. All right, so this is me. So what am I going to text myself? I'm going to text myself that little shortened link. So, all right, so there it is. I've just texted myself that link. It's a live link. If I click on it as a text, I get the same thing. So hopefully you're getting that. Okay, I'm just looking for any comments. All right, so what else could I do with that shortened link? I can go to Facebook, and I can send a message. If I want to send a message to myself, I can do, I've never really sent a message to myself. Let's find out. Well, I'll send it to Michael M. Brewster. Here's a message to Michael M. Brewster. So so down here, what's the message? I'm going to check this out, colon, and then I just paste it in. Where hopefully it's there. So hold on. One second. There it is. And guess what it'll do? Where is it? This is Usana. It's a live link. So if I just click on this, hold on, where is it? Not sure why it didn't do it. Let me find out. I'm going to try it again. I'm going to send a message, new message to to Michael M. Brewster. Hi, Michael. And down here, I'm just going to paste in that link. And oh, there it is. It's below. You can't see it, but down here, if I click on this, I don't know why that's not. Well, at any rate, you can send this as a message by using that link. You could also send it as a message, believe it or not, by copying a big long link like that. Not that you'd want to, but you could, and you could send a message. Okay, so Michael says he just got the video, and he writes, "Wow, this is an awesome video." Oh yeah, well, Michael, watch this one. And there it is again. So that big long gobbledygook link will immediately pop up. This is Usana. So this is a great way to share stuff on Facebook. It's a great way to text to people. And it's also a wonderful way to email to somebody, because guess what? The same email I have here, you could send to somebody. And here's what I do. I create an email. Give me all my trade secrets here, because I want you to use these things. Here. This is Usana. Let's see. Here's an example of I'll keep that e-card in my email folder. Right? This is an e-card I sent to myself. This is the first thing I was talking about before, and I've already customized it. So look what I can do. Look what I can do. I can take this and I can forward this email. I can clean it up. I can get rid of this photo. Here's what I meant by cleaning it up before. So now it looks like just a regular email. You know, it's got my information on the bottom there 2 times, so we'll get rid of some of that. So now it's cleaned up and it's an email. But what I can do here is I can actually type something personal. I could say, you know, hi, Michael. So instead of going into Communication Edge and doing this, I just go into this folder, which I call Important Share Emails. Important Share Emails. So let me see if I have one of these somewhere here. Yeah. All right, so here's something I did for someone. I sent this to Brittany. And I wrote a little thing, and then I wrote, this is USANA, because I created what's called a hyperlink. I want to show you what that looks like, okay? A hyperlink. So this is USANA, 12-minute video, but I also put in the link just in case. So I put in the shortened bit.ly link, and this is USANA. Both will take Brittany to that same video. It's got my contact information. It's what I use. I just forward it out to the next person. It takes me seconds to get that information out, and there's continuity. What am I doing? I'm sifting and sorting with this information. When I follow up with them at the time that they said they wanted to be followed up with, they're either going to be interested or they're not going to be interested in learning more about USANA. But now they'll have a good overview having watched the 12-minute This is USANA video. So you're using this tool in a variety of different ways with a variety of different people for the same purpose, to educate and to create understanding about what you have and how this might be beneficial to them. Most important. Somebody watches this video and they hate it. Guess what? They're not who you're looking for. You want to spend time convincing them? I don't think so. You know, if they look at it and they have questions, wow, you know, these products could really help my family. Then that starts a conversation. The process will have started a conversation. The last thing I'm going to do is show you a hyperlink. So here's the best way to do it, just to give you a quick example. Let's forward this as an email. All right, and so let's just work with this stuff here. See this link? I'm going to copy this link. Now I've copied it. It's on my clipboard. But now I want to write, this is USANA, and just like I have over here. But if I highlight it, and it might be different on a PC platform, if I highlight it, and this little thing, add a link. I can add a link. A box opens up. I paste in the link. I say OK. This link is now live. If I forward it to myself, and this will be it for the call here because we're getting on. If I forward it to myself, I get the mail. Where are we here? There we are. All right, there it is as a live link now. I click on that, guess what's going to happen? The same thing. This is USANA. So you have a hyperlink. Those are words this is USANA, the words that will take you to the same place that a short link will take you to, that a large link will take you to, that an e-card, obviously you see the e-card. So what we've talked about is where to find the tool, Communication Edge, how to customize it. You want to write something in there. You can customize it. Make sure that your personal information is in the profile manager, which is on the hub, with your picture or some picture or something, just so it's personalized. E-card, you can send it to yourself as an e-card, make it a favorite, and so you can go back and grab it anytime you want. You can copy the link, or you can actually send the link to yourself in an email. It will open up your email. You can take that link and paste it into bit.ly, bit.ly.com, and shorten the link. So you got a teeny link that you can text, or you can Facebook message like we did with Michael, and he loved it. How do you like that? we get to sponsor him again, or you can create a hyperlink, words that will take you to the same place. You can send the video e-card to yourself and save it so that it's in a little folder, and you just like forward it like I did, clean out all the garbage, and send it to, personalize it with the person's name and whatever you talked about. So what we've covered tonight is a bunch of different things, but hopefully we've done the updates. Know that the free starter kits work perfect. The free starter kits run until January 31st. It's a great time to invite your people, invite your preferred customers to look at the whole thing. If you got a PC that's buying product consistently, they love it, you can call them and say, listen, if there were a way you get your products paid for, would you want to know how? They say, well, yeah. You say, well, great. Let me send you, if I send you a 12-minute video, will you watch it? They go, well, yeah. I said, if I send it now, when will you watch it? Well, I can watch it tomorrow. I said, great. So if I call you tomorrow afternoon, you would have watched it for sure. I want you to give me till tomorrow night. Say, great. If I call you tomorrow night, you would have watched it for sure. Sure. Say, great. What's a good time to call you tomorrow night? And best phone number. Well, call me at this number at 9. Say, super. I'll call you at 9. It's pretty exciting. See you then. Bye. And then you go to your video, you go to your email folder, or you text it to them, or you can say, I'll text you a link. You can watch it now on your phone. You can watch this on a phone. You can watch it on your tablet. You can watch it on a computer. Guys, this is very simple. I mean, it sounds like a lot of stuff coming at you, but the tool is simple. The process is simple. The more you show this, the bigger your paycheck, the bigger your organization. Not everybody will respond to it. Your job is not to worry about everybody. Your job is to worry about the few that have a reason and a need. That's going to be our call for tonight. I appreciate you guys getting on this call and week after week. And remember, our next call, February 1st, we're going to a 2-week schedule, the first and third Mondays, 8 o'clock East Coast time. Make it a great week, everyone, and we'll speak to you all on February 1st or sooner. If you need me, I'm here. Make it a great one. Good night, everyone.